perspective on technological innovation and globalization. Delaney called for new infrastructure and international tax reform, as well as healthcare, immigration, and education reform with a focus on volunteerism and public service. In light of the announcement, Delaney says he does not plan to run for re-election to the House in 2018. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a sweetened beverage tax will take effect in Chicago on Wednesday after an Illinois judge threw out a lawsuit by retailers that argued the measure was vague and unlawful. Cook County, which includes Chicago and surrounding suburbs, joins a growing number of localities across the United States that have adopted measures to cut consumption of sugary drinks for health reasons, including Seattle and San Francisco. Cook County Circuit Judge Daniel Kubasiak decided in the county's favor on Friday, about a month after he had halted implementation of the penny per ounce tax in response to the lawsuit by the Illinois Retail Merchants Association. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. CATMUF is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. Because the government is here to help you. How can you help CATMUF help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at CATMUF, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. CATMUF, because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
It's time for Off the Air Live. And here's your host, Cody O'Connor.
All right, I'm here. We're doing a show tonight. It's a Saturday, so it's time for another OTEL. Phone lines are open if you want to hang out and chat with me tonight. You got me for a nice, clean 2 hours here. So call in if you so desire at 603-283-6160. Skype in at lrn.fm. I was just reviewing some of the recent posts that have happened in the OTEL Club, because that's the Facebook hangout spot between the shows for all of the fans to chat and, you know, hang out, spread whatever propaganda you so desire, whatever you want to do. I've kind of noticed that it seems like Alex Jones has taken over the internet in a lot of ways, including the OTEL Club, which I wonder if it's going to get to the point with other people where it's starting to get with me, where it's sort of like an overload. You know, it's almost like too much of a entertaining type of thing. Like, we all love Alex Jones for the crazy personality that he has and how meme-worthy he is, and, you know, just that good old patriotic rage that he's got. You know, 1776, it's going to rise again. I don't know when. He keeps talking about it. But, yeah, looks like that shit's still asleep. But, seems like I'm starting to get to the point now where I'm sort of waiting for some other personality to be the big, important guy that everybody's watching and paying attention to and sharing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the stuff's funny, but there's going to become a point where there's a saturation of it. That's what I'm kind of worried of. It's like, you can only tell so many 9/11 jokes until, well, I mean, if you thought it was funny to begin with, if you have a sick sense of humor like me, you can only tell so many 9/11 jokes until you're like, well, I've kind of heard them all. There's only so many things you can say about a few towers falling, and, this is starting to get a little bit boring. So it's like, when they first came out with the Alex Jones memes, and I first kind of discovered them maybe 6 months ago, I realized that the internet's kind of blowing this up. They're just taking clips and doing fun stuff with it. And it keeps going, and it's still entertaining, but I'm kind of waiting for something new at this point. The latest thing that happened, I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago, I was actually shown in studio here, a video where they took Alex Jones clips and put it to like a folk song, which I found mildly amusing, which is not really good. I mean, for me, it needs to be, raffle level material. And for me to only find it mildly amusing is starting to be an indicator to me that we got to come up with a new person to be following at this point. There's got to be other exciting personalities out there. But maybe there isn't. Maybe everybody's gotten so boring and they've just gotten too sleepy and they're not interesting anymore. They're not worth following or watching or sharing their content or satirizing the content or memeing the content. I mean, who else is really out there that's making a big splash? I don't know. The most halfway decent video that I caught over the past couple days was one of Adam Carolla testifying before either Congress or the Senate. Basically, I think it's prep for a movie that he's making with Dennis Prager. I think it's called No Safe Spaces, and it's kind of about the state of where, social justice warriors have come in and turned college into a horrible, horrible, but safe place for everybody. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But I want to see more stuff like that. I want to see more big personalities, charismatic people, maybe even just straight up crazy people, doing stuff where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And not necessarily for something that's like a bad shock. I'm not talking like, oh my God, Bill Cosby raped how many people? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that you're sort of on the fence of liking legitimately, but you also make fun of it and you're entertained by it. And, everybody's following the person. I just think a lot of these personalities have sort of simmered out. I don't know if they've run out of creative juice and they're just kind of living their lives now, which is kind of a bummer. I do think, I've always been a big fan of the rock and roll lifestyle, and something I really, really respect about Kurt Cobain is that the way I kind of see it, maybe it's me reading between the lines a little bit. I feel like when he decided that he was done, he just fucking killed himself. Unless you think Courtney Love killed him. That he did not kill himself. It was a homicide. But if you're gonna go with the official story there, he was just like, well, I've rocked out. I've put out a few good albums. I don't want to turn into the next Metallica. I don't want to be the next band that sells out or starts coming out with just shitty corporate records for money, And then you go and do concerts and still play the old songs because that's what everybody wants to hear. But, keep coming out with new disappointing records every year because the label forces you to. Fuck that! Gonna blow my brains out with a shotgun. You don't see a lot of that anymore. I think what you see more often is just interesting people fading into obscurity. I feel like there was a lot more interesting libertarian personalities that you just don't really hear from anymore. I understand, they're out doing their own thing and stuff, but, what's Adam Kokesh up to? Living out in the desert or whatever he's doing? He used to be releasing YouTube content on a near daily basis. What do we have left to really look for as far as something for people to consume? I think people are very hungry on YouTube, and all we're getting is a really, really bad version of Stefan Molyneux. Speaking of Stefan, we have a Steven from Ohio. Once again, you want to do some co-hosting with me tonight, man?
Sure, that would be Stefan, by the way.
Stefan, that's what I meant to say. You put me on the spot. I knew I was going to get it wrong, and I know it. I want you to know that.
Yeah, I get you. You were talking about how there's not a lot of libertarian content out there. Does Christopher Cantwell still do his show on YouTube?
Yeah, he's still out there. I mean, I don't know how much of it is behind a paywall at this point, but he's gotten into this sort of one-track mind territory where, it's just, we get it, the Jews,
What the hell?
I've obviously had my run-ins with Cantwell, but I'll always say I think he's a very talented and entertaining person. But I think when you're just hounding on the same issue day in and day out, it turns some people off,
By the way, I didn't know who you were referring to there when I called on Skype. The ringing kind of blocked out some of the sound. Were you talking about Adam Kokesh there with the guy in the desert putting out YouTube videos all the time?
Yeah. Whatever happened to him?
He's still out there. Didn't he get arrested like a month or two ago?
Well, there wasn't really any hubbub about it. I don't even know if he made a YouTube video. I mean, the thing is, it's like the the tree that falls in the forest, no one's there, doesn't make a noise, blah 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 blah. Does it count as activism if you're not making content? No podcast, no YouTube. I mean, if you're not telling people about it, then what's the point?
Well, I think I kind of had like a little conspiracy a while back about, Adam Kokesh. And, when you get into that kind of territory, people are like, oh, you're just trying to scare people.
Ooh, conspiracy. Can you wait until after the break and then tell me what your conspiracy is? Okay, much more coming up. Gonna have a fun little hotel tonight. Stick with us.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Simbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Simbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
All right, we are back. Another segment of Off the Air Live. Welcoming back Stefan from Ohio. Yes. Wanted to make sure I get it right that time.
You did.
Last Friday, I didn't do a show Saturday, but on Friday, it was super random. You know Parker, right?
No.
He's one of our callers. You might have heard him call in at one point. He decided to Skype me randomly Friday night.
Oh.
It was very late at night, and I was just about ready for bed, and he just started talking about all kinds of really boring stuff to me, like the gas crisis and flying cars, and it might have been just because I wasn't in the mood. Maybe if I was in more of an intellectual mood, that would have been stimulating to me. But otherwise, I was just like, ugh, come on. Can we talk about aliens? This is boring me.
Well, aliens, in my opinion, is a pointless subject considering they don't exist. But,
whoa. Excuse me?
I know that pisses a lot of people I know
You
off,
sound pretty sure about that.
Okay. A lot of the time you'll hear non-religious people, including myself, say, there is no God because there's no proof. That's like a perfect thing to say. You would agree with that, right?
I'm not necessarily an atheist. I mean, I'll let you finish your point, but I'm not going to take sides yet.
I bounce back and forth, but as of late I've been meh on it. But basically, let me put it like this: wouldn't the same thing apply to aliens? Like, we don't know there are aliens, so there's no evidence, so why should we even consider the fact that they would exist?
Well, you have to wonder how so many amazing pieces of architecture were created in a time where the technology may not have allowed for it.
I mean, can't you just think maybe there was a section of humans, a pocket of humans that nobody knew about, considering travel was very difficult? If they were smart enough, they couldn't put together a couple of rock formations?
Yeah, but if we're specifically talking about the pyramids, for example, I mean, these are heavy blocks, and the best thing archaeologists can come up with as an excuse on how they were moved is they say they got the sand wet. That seems like a cop-out to me.
You think they couldn't have put together wagons at that point in time? You don't think they could have put together wagons that like a dozen men could pull in order to move the sandstones? That project probably took 20, 30 years if you really think about it. I mean,
but how do you drag it up the unfinished pyramid once you get to the pyramid?
Okay, if we're saying it's aliens,
cranes or alien levitation technology.
Okay, so
I think that sounds more reasonable.
So let's assume, fine, aliens come to this planet. Somehow atmospheric pressure is just right. Somehow they can breathe. It's all fine and dandy, and they decide not to stay. And the one thing they leave us is a structure that is already composed of things we have here. Instead of building something way cooler or occupying us, they would literally come to our planet and say, "We're going to put this here and leave." What is that, like a mark so they can come back later?
Here's a theory for you. There's a theory that the pyramids were actually a power generator, and they were sending energy back to their home planet.
What?
Riddle me that one, Mr. Smart Guy.
Okay, so if we're assuming that scientific law still applies, and the nearest solar system that could possibly have a planet is over 4 light years away, you're telling me it would be effective for them to take 4 years to send energy over there and then another 4 years for them to send the energy back? Wouldn't that be a big waste of time? Wouldn't they just take our energy and leave since nothing else intelligent lived here and everybody was like clacking rocks together and going, Gnurshk?
I don't know. Maybe they're so evolved that they just wanted to leave cool shit for us to appreciate for thousands of years. Maybe they think that's funny. Maybe they think it's funny that for thousands and thousands of years we can't figure out why this big triangle is in the desert.
Well, here's something that actually kind of adds to a little theory I think about sometimes. What if we all live within a computer? It's not as crazy as it sounds. What if we are all just a simulation right now?
Yeah.
And because, you and I probably get enjoyment out of randomly slaughtering people and, the Sims or removing the door to confuse them. What if they put the pyramids there just to piss us off?
I've been playing The Sims all day today. I'm so glad you brought that up.
The Sims 4?
3.
Oh, it's fantastic. I just like watching the reactions of the little Sims. You call the police and you're just in the bathtub in your front yard like, hey, what's up?
I know we're going off on a different subject, but I'm so proud of myself coming back to the game as an adult. Because now I've figured the game out in ways I never did. I used to have to cheat to get a bunch of money. Now I've realized that I can buy property and I can just sit around and make money doing nothing.
That works in The Sims 3, but if you were playing the Sims game I played as a kid, The Sims Bustin' Out, you would never get that far because in that game, you know what it was? You go to work, you unlock shit, and you're basically a fixer-upper. You're basically
I had that one.
Yeah, in that game, you're basically a leech. You leave your mom's house and you sponge off of other people and replace a couple of things, and then you move to a fucking mansion somehow. If only it was that easy. Here, let me give you this TV. Okay, I'm going to the mansion now.
Well, you know what? I actually really like Bustin' Out because I feel like it sort of followed a story.
That's the only Sims game.
And that was the one on console, right?
I
want to say I had it on GameCube.
Oh, gosh, you were a GameCube person?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I could have never dealt with that. I have a copy. You may be able to see it right here. It's on PlayStation 2.
Okay.
I had dug this up forever ago.
It was probably over all 3 of the platforms at the time.
Yeah, and
it was cool, though, right? You started off living with your mom, and you get a job, you work your way up, you keep moving to bigger and bigger houses until you get that mansion, and then you get a cutscene at the very end.
Yeah, and that's extremely rare for a Sims game to do that. And what I found really cool about it was, that was the only Sims game where you felt like you were finishing something. The other Sims game, it was just going off and building shit just for it to look cool. In that game, you actually had an incentive to get a job rather than just take the money at the start and put it into other, pieces of property or stocks, which they offer in The Sims 4 or whatever.
Yeah, so I know what you're saying. The problem that I run into with some games like that, like The Sims, like Animal Crossing, like Minecraft, is that after a little while, I start feeling really nihilistic, and I start wondering what's the point.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You talk about Minecraft when there actually is a goal to that. You can actually beat the Ender Dragon. But you're right. You know, what's the point afterwards? Like, I used to play this game called Rust. I still do. Have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
It's like a survival game on PC. You start off naked. You kill some things, get some metal, some wood, put together a little house. And, you know, at any point, somebody can come kill you. You spent like 8 hours building like C4 and shit. And then somebody kicks down your door like, here's Johnny, and blows your head off. And it's all fucking gone.
Wow.
You know,
and you just feel like you wasted your time, kind of.
Yeah, I try not to play games like that, or like on a game called Gary's Mod, they have like a role play kind of thing.
We gotta take a break, but tell me what Gary's Mod is, because I keep seeing it on the internet and I really don't know what it is. All right, more coming up. It is Hotel.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Almost missed my own show there. Just having a chat with Johnny Ray out on the porch there. It's one nice thing about coming around here. You never know who you'll run into while you're taking a smoke break. So, Stefan.
Johnny Ray, is that the guy that sounds like Kermit the Frog?
He's sort of got a Kermit-esque thing going on.
He's actually one of the cooler hosts on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, and one of the nicer people that I know.
Really?
Yeah, he's always been a good dude.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So, well then.
Sorry.
Haven't put your phone on silent.
I'm going to now because a certain dumb fuck you'll probably guess who it is when you hear the... I need to get my number changed.
Oh, okay, so he can't get to me, so he's going to bug you tonight.
Yeah, just quoting you, dork. Take me on the air live. I dare you. No.
I dare you.
Go fuck yourself.
I decline your dare for you to bore me with your.
But
God.
It's funny. You wanted to know what Gary's Mod was, and this is going to confuse you when I say this at first, but I'll explain more. Gary's Mod is whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
It's basically like you've heard of Half-Life 2, probably. Everybody's heard of Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I've played it.
And it's basically like you can play around with that engine, but you're allowed to spawn the props in the game and make little animations. You can get weapons packs. Some people use it for a deathmatch game. Some people use it for a role-play game or a racing game. You can make it whatever you want. It's basically just a big toy box for you to play with.
Oh, so isn't that the one where a lot of people use it to make like cartoons, basically?
Yeah, that and Source Filmmaker, which uses the same engine.
Okay, so I know about it a little bit.
But we were talking about games that are a waste of time. I used to play this game mode called Dark RP, which was you choose a job. Like you could be a hobo, a police officer, a citizen, a doctor, a rapist, whatever you want to fucking be. And
you can be a rapist in the game.
Yes, you can literally get up behind people and watch cartoons bang, and you can give people STDs. It really depends on the server, though.
Did this get through the ratings board?
It's not rated since it's third-party content.
Okay.
As I said, Gary's Mod is a base game. It's a base game, and you modify it yourself. But in this mode, you're supposed to like get printers and stuff, make money. You can make your money as a job. You can beg people for donations on the street. It's basically like Life Simulator almost. But it's like there are so many rules. Like there's a rule like if you cannot RDM, which is called random deathmatch, for example. Like you can't just kill somebody for no reason. But if it's like if you accidentally kill somebody in the crossfire, you can get banned from a server. A couple years ago, I put like I shit you not like 400 hours in this server. I was just mentally sick from it. Yeah. And then I ended up getting banned, and I figured, wait, this is a fucking waste of time. So I never touched another server again. Because it's like, it's such a waste of time. But then again,
did you feel like it was an addiction that you had to stop cold turkey, basically?
Yeah. In fact, the second time, because I did eventually try another RP server, but I ended up getting myself banned on purpose because I didn't want it to, like grow anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because at the time I was homeschooled, and it's like, I cannot fucking do this anymore, and it's like I had to get through it. I'm finally through high school now.
But it'll like mess with you. I mean, have you seen some of the videos of kids who get their World of Warcraft accounts shut down by their parents, and they literally have like mental breakdowns?
There was I blame the fucking parents. There was an issue a couple of years ago. This was a long time ago. This was like 2009, 2010, where these parents took this kid's keyboard away so he couldn't play games.
Yeah.
And so he fucking killed his dad with a sledgehammer in the middle of the night.
Whoa.
Stole his keyboard and played games. And you're like, if you really think about it, that kid like reduced his game playing time. But, you know, I blame the parents for letting him get that started in the first place.
They let it get that bad and then they took it away. It's like giving your kid heroin and then one day being like, all right, no, you're getting clean. And expecting everything to just be fine.
Well, when I was, you know, it wasn't until the time like I was 16 that I was basically allowed to play as much as I want. Before there was like this, you know, arbitrary time limit, which, you know, some libertarians and I have a disagreement on like parenting, but I think, you know, limiting your child's exposure to certain media is a good thing. Because when you teach them that that's all that is, there's a problem. Like I see parents giving their 8-year-old kids fucking iPhones, and then when they're like a couple years older and they take it away, they're like, holy shit, I have no friends. They're all on the screen. That kind of fucks with people really, really badly.
Yeah.
And yes, I think it can stunt somebody's emotional development. I don't think kids are well equipped. And, you know, it's like, look at the shit they can be exposed to online. I know, like, Mark and Ian probably disagree with me on this, but I don't think you should give kids free fucking reign all the time on the internet unsupervised, because what if they do, you know, end up finding, like, porn and they're, like, 7 years old? I mean, I know eventually they're going to find it anyway, and you have to explain it, but, like, a 7 or 8-year-old on a tablet finding that shit, I don't think that's very good for them.
Yeah, it's where we get into this conversation where it's like, listen guys, I know you want to be as pure as possible, but there are gray zones, okay, that need to be discussed and explored, especially when it comes to parenting. You know, of course, I am all for peaceful parenting. Never hit your kid, fucking never, you know, and I'm not going to bend on that one. But I don't think, when we're talking about like limiting computer time and stuff, I don't think that's a question of force. I think that's a question of parenting. And until they're, you know, their brains are developed and they're 18 or, you know, whatever age the parents believe they're mature enough, it's actually the job of the parent to make sure that the kids are spending their time in ways that are most appropriate. You know, and they may be mad at the time, but I think when they're older, they might thank their parents. You know, when I was a kid, I couldn't sit on my Sega Genesis all day. You know, maybe an hour or two, but I had to go outside and play in real life as well. You know, my aunt who was babysitting me after school, you know, she would make me stretch my fingers so I didn't get carpal tunnel. You know, that's like, you know, you're being told to do a thing, but it's for your best interest.
Well, yeah, and with me, it was kind of difficult because I'm not going to lie. I had some very strict parents. You know, I couldn't go outside unless, you know, they were outside with me. You know, it was that kind of person, you know, those kind of people. And maybe that goes a little too far. But I also had to, like, when I was younger, you know, we'd have this thing called computer time. You know, I couldn't just sit down at the computer all freaking day. I had to, you know, ask for permission. They'd set a timer, that kind of thing. Granted, I didn't get very much time. I got like a fucking half hour.
That's not very much. Yeah, I would say maybe an hour or two would be more generous.
Or with moderate breaks, you know, and then, you know, eventually when I got a bike, that was nice. But until they were like, oh, you can only ride down the street and back. And I noticed that, like, after I've become older and I can make these decisions myself, I find myself going outside more just because, you know, after a while, these screens just kind of start to wear on you. I mean, they're wonderful.
Yeah,
you can learn anything you ever want to know on them, but you don't want to be in front of it all fucking day. I don't have a smartphone.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they mess with your eyes. They mess with your energy. And, you know, they sort of change your brain, your brain waves. They put you in a sort of trance state. Same thing with TVs. I mean, and that's not a conspiracy. You know, it does.
And it makes it really hard to sleep sometime. I don't know if I've ever shared this story.
It's true.
I went to a rock festival earlier this year. The only problem was I hadn't slept in like 2 fucking days. So after a couple hours and like 3 Benadryl pills later and all this fucking music blasting in me, like I nearly collapsed because of how much that it had taken a toll on me. And I do attribute it to, not just the Benadryl, but to the fact that these, screens were keeping me up. It's like, oh, I want to go to bed now, but I'm going to play this game first, I don't think that's very healthy. And that's why I try to play, like people are always like, why don't you play like RPGs or those kinds of games? Because they're major fucking time sinks, and I don't want to get addicted to this.
Well, let's get into that a little more. We're going to take a break, but there's a direction I want to go.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
All right, we're back. It is Off the Air Live, Saturday show. My name is Cody O'Connor. We're hanging out with Stefan from Ohio. We're talking about video games. And I kind of wanted to bring this into a direction where even if you're not a gamer, maybe you can sort of get something out of it. You were sort of talking about RPGs. I wanted to bring it back to The Sims real quick. It's kind of a similar branch in the conversation, though. Just because I want to. I'm going to give you a recap of my latest game that I've been doing. So with my character, I went for the musician career track. I just I got it all the way up, so now I'm a rock star, level 10 in the career. I've also gotten my life goal, which was to master the guitar and charisma skills. And with my lifetime points, I bought a genie bottle, a lamp. I rubbed it, and 2 of my wishes so far has been for money, so I got $200,000, which I promptly invested in a shitload of property. I'm basically starting to buy the town. And now I actually get to this point in my head where I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, now all I have to do here in the game is sit here and collect money and acquire more things. Eventually, I'll move to the most expensive property in the game. I'll keep making money. I'll buy all the nice things. And then what? And then I start getting this sort of nihilistic feeling where, because The Sims is a simulator of real life, I sort of start connecting it to my real life. And I'm just like, what do you do? And I start feeling really nihilistic. And I'm just thinking, well, now that I've got all of the things, there's nothing really else to do. What am I going to do? Watch my sim play skee ball or pool and that be my entertainment? I've done everything I can do. Now the only thing really is to either, start a new game or shut it off and play something else entirely.
Well, one could argue you could put modifications into the game if you're playing it on a computer, maybe add some more furniture. But you're right. Ultimately, what is the goal? There's really no goal. I just like priding myself. Like occasionally I'll turn it back on and show somebody, hey, look at this house I built. It's so cool, and then that'd be it. But what payoff is there? It's not the same payoff as
Right, because there's no ending credits. There's no cutscene. There's no, hey, you beat the game.
And it's not a game like Grand Theft Auto where when you're done, you can still absolutely destroy civilization and, have fun with it. In The Sims, once you have all of your kids and you build a nice house and you get your life goal, the only thing you can either do is start a new game or just evict your own sim and put another person in that same house and get their life
and start from scratch again.
Yeah, which some people could see as fun, but I see that as very time-consuming. As I said, it's the same reason I don't play like a lot of RPGs. Actually, shorter games. It's one of the reasons I prefer pinball, for example, to video games, is because it takes less time.
Yeah, you're just playing.
It's not like I can't play an involved game. I was actually Daryl, Ian, and some other host on Free Talk Live. We were all talking about this a couple weeks ago about completion and how you can actually beat a game and still not 100% it. And Daryl seemed like completely perplexed about how achievements or anything were any fun. And they can be, but the fact is that can really take up your free time. And it's infuriating sometimes because then you don't realize it's wrong until you notice everything's falling behind and you think, man, this really is an addiction. It's similar to like an alcohol addiction. I know that sounds extreme, but I really do think it is.
Well, I mean, what's the payoff? So you get all of the achievements. What do you get? Bragging rights?
Pretty much.
Maybe they'll give you some sort of art gallery. Sometimes games will give you that if you beat the game 100%. But other than that, really, it's only whatever satisfaction you get from it, which is like a 7-second long feeling of happiness that promptly fades away.
But an art gallery is at least a reward. In The Sims, what's your reward? There is
nothing.
Reward.
So, and it makes me think, so you talked about, so what do you do after that? Evict The Sims, move in a new one. Okay, well, compare that to real life and think about how scary an idea that might be if, say, reincarnation is in fact real. Really, all you're doing is playing your life without really any end goal besides the ones you create for yourself. But, at the end of the day, you just die and then you start again doing the same stuff.
You know, that is a very, very good point. That's something that I used to think about a lot. Like, what is the point of life? You're born, I guess my only goal is trying to make the world, more free, or at least trying to get that ball rolling. And I think you guys in New Hampshire, if you're a part of that movement, are doing a wonderful job trying to get that ball rolling. And I respect that. I guess the only goal we really have as humans is to be the best we can be and make sure the next generation isn't totally fucked, which in my opinion, this generation is already totally fucked. But, maybe that's just the pessimist or maybe the realist in me speaking. But you are right. There is no point to things like that. And it does bring about, I think nihilism would be the term. But it really does bring that about.
So I think what a lot of people may not really understand is perhaps there's more satisfaction that comes from helping society collectively advance over the personal acquisition of material goods.
Yes, there is. And you feel very accomplished. That's why people say it's better to, give than to receive. I suppose I just like seeing other people, very happy about things. It's weird. I haven't bought myself a video game in like 6 months, but I've probably spent like $200-300 buying other people's games over the past few months, just because I kind of like seeing their joy from it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling, but, that's also a very dangerous feeling, in my opinion, trying to help everybody or trying to make people happy, because then you'll forget about yourself. It's really hard to have a balance between that.
You have to balance it. The thing is that you have to be at a place where you can help people before you decide to.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you're going to just start withering away financially, physically, mentally. You got to take care of yourself first, get to the point where you can actually help people, and then go do that.
Well, I'd like to say that, gives me a heart in a way, but, I don't like to talk like that because it's not very humble of me. But at the same time, I also am very cruel with some of my thinking, because I actually believe in, the theory of natural selection, and some people are just destined to go. And some people say, oh, that's so heartless of you, but I don't think that's a heartless concept at all. I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think that some people
I
are
go
just
both
destined?
ways. It's a lot easier to feel that way when you're comfortable, obviously. You know what I mean? Because,
yeah,
obviously, you don't want to be the person who has been naturally selected.
Yeah,
but from if you take your ego out of it and you kind of zoom out and look at everything, well, yeah, it's like you want to feel like, okay, let's give everybody a safety net, make sure everybody's safe. But I mean, you also have to ask yourself if we're sort of giving people like poor people motivation to have more babies and not work, and that certain type of genetics. Behavior set, just personality in general is being multiplied, while the rich don't really have nearly as many kids.
A wonderful example would be of this kind of, thinking happening for me is a couple weeks ago, I had heard that somebody locally had died of like a heroin overdose. And I was called heartless because I said, I don't really find any sympathy if they were that stupid to stick it into their, body in the first place. Or even better example, somebody I knew had a baby. I thought she was dumb for getting pregnant at like fucking 16 years old to begin with.
Way too young.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't say that, because then the hardcore libertarians will tell you she was old enough to make the decision to have a baby.
I don't care, though. I mean, you still have so much growing up to do. When I was 16, I was still a kid,
Yeah.
I'm just to the point now where I'm like, maybe in a year or two, I can do that, make a baby. I'm still getting to the point where
you can't even handle yourself, let alone a fucking child.
Right, like you want to get to the point where you're responsible.
Yeah, where you can handle yourself and nurture yourself and give yourself a house and maybe a wife or something, a car. You don't want to have to worry about tending to a baby every 5 seconds because it's crying and getting up in the middle of the night to feed it. Or a lot of the times, there will be incidents of people claiming they accidentally hurt their baby when a lot of the time I bet they just fucking like shook it around because they didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Oh yeah, there's some really, really bad parents out there. All right, we are going to take the hour break. If you want to stick around, man, you can. Phone lines are open if anybody wants to do a joint call, says Otel.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
More Off the Air Live is up next, live after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, July 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.75 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,269 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,747. Antiwar.com reports after several months of warning they'd retaliate if the U.S. kept making hostile moves, Russia on Friday did so, seizing a pair of U.S. diplomatic properties and ordering the U.S. Embassy in Russia to reduce its staff to 455 by September. The sites are both in Moscow. Russia is giving the United States until Tuesday, August 1st, to be out of those two sites. This is more or less retaliation for the move in December, in which the Obama administration seized a pair of vacation houses owned by the Russian Embassy in the United States. Russia at the time said they were holding off retaliation, hoping the Trump administration would have a change of heart and return the properties. They did not. The cap of 455 embassy staff appears to be a significant reduction, though exactly how many that amounts to is not totally clear. Russia is not singling out specific people who have to leave, but has complained recently that there are too many U.S. spies in Moscow with embassy credentials. Some are speculating this could expel in excess of 100 embassy staffers and is retaliation to both the U.S. expulsion of Russian embassy staffers back in December and a growing array of U.S. sanctions against Russia. The U.S. Embassy issued a statement saying they had expressed strong disappointment and protest to the Russian government. Since Russia's been complaining about comparable moves from the U.S. side for 7 solid months, it's unlikely Russia is going to be too worried about U.S. disappointment. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports U.S. Representative John Delaney of Maryland announced Friday he is planning to challenge President Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election. The third-term congressman revealed the news in an op-ed published by the Washington Post. In it, he called for bipartisanship to rise above our broken politics. He wrote, "We are letting critical opportunities to improve the country pass us by, and we are not even talking about the most important thing, the future. The victims of this leadership failure are the good people we've sworn to serve, and we're leaving our country ill-prepared for dramatic changes ahead. The current administration is making us less prosperous and less secure. The centrist Democrat isn't well known outside of his district, which is why he told the Baltimore Sun he's announcing his candidacy and outreach now." Delaney said, "I know what I'm getting into. I want to do all the hard work to earn the people's trust, to listen to them, and I feel like as I run this campaign over the next couple of years, people will get to know me." In the Post, Delaney touted his business acumen. He ran 2 publicly traded companies before the age of 40, and his fresh perspective on technological innovation and globalization. Delaney called for new infrastructure and international tax reform, as well as healthcare, immigration, and education reform with a focus on volunteerism and public service. In light of the announcement, Delaney says he does not plan to run for re-election to the House in 2018. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a sweetened beverage tax will take effect in Chicago on Wednesday after an Illinois judge threw out a lawsuit by retailers that argued the measure was vague and unlawful. Cook County, which includes Chicago and surrounding suburbs, joins a growing number of localities across the United States that have adopted measures to cut consumption of sugary drinks for health reasons, including Seattle and San Francisco. Cook County Circuit Judge Daniel Kubasiak decided in the county's favor on Friday, about a month after he had halted implementation of the penny per ounce tax in response to the lawsuit by the Illinois Retail Merchants Association. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Our very own Tracy met farmer Ray Kimball, who says that his horse, Franklin, has the ability to speak full sentences.
When did you first realize he could talk?
Well, I'd hear him saying things when I was sleeping, and then I'd go out to the barn and we'd have some real conversations.
Can we talk to Franklin?
He can't wait to meet you. Say hi, Franklin. What's that? That's a good one.
What did he say?
He said, "Who's the pretty lady?"
Aw. Franklin, do you like living on the farm?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Did he say something?
Tracy, you live here now.
I spent a cozy night at Ray's farmhouse in a room he called the altar. I learned that the farmer has a whole lot more on his mind than just a talking horse.
You are my beloved.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's time for Off the Air Live.
All right, coming into hour number 2. This is Off the Air Live, Saturday's show. Cody hanging out with you. And we've been talking to Stefan from Ohio on the phone.
Yes, you have.
Did you have anywhere you wanted to go next with this?
What, with the idea of video games?
Totally lost my train of thought. So, yeah, just wondering if you had anything else there.
You always seem to lose your train of thought. I know
well, that's the bummer about these breaks, because we can keep going and going and going, and then, I come back 4 minutes later, I'm just like, I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about.
It's fine. I'm glad you rescued me from, hell. I finally turned my phone back on. I think it's going to stay off for the rest of the night, probably.
Yeah. I'm sure there's nothing good going on with that thing.
I mean, yeah, no, it's not good. He once again threatened to, literally in his own words, rip my penis off. So, I feel like,
Literally, huh? Wow.
I think he wants a souvenir, maybe. I don't know.
Starting to get some really, really weird thoughts about, where he's coming from.
I'm going to hurt you, Cody O'Connor.
Well, just, leave my manhood intact.
No. You don't have any right to.
I'd be pretty bummed out if I went the rest of my life penisless.
Well, why is that? I mean, it really doesn't do much except make you urinate.
Oh.
And other things. No. Do not take that the wrong way. Holy shit, that's a bad thing for me to say. But I don't know. I just see it as like, maybe I'm probably gonna get the fucking shit made fun of me for this, but it's like, what is the point of sex when you can do so many more productive things?
Well, feels pretty nice.
I mean, so does shooting a 20 gauge at the range.
Whatever you're into, man.
I'm not into 20 gauges. I don't know. I don't keep them around for that purpose.
You don't light some candles, play soft music, and then clean your rifle. Because that'd be super weird.
Oh my goodness, I could not see that happening. Speaking of that, I noticed like going down because yesterday I went to Pittsburgh to an arcade to play some pinball, and I noticed like since the last time I've gone there are so many anti-gun fucking billboards on the way there from every town. It's insane.
Oh really? Does that bother you?
It's just like funny. What bothers me is they would hate my responses to every single one of them.
Because I'm sure you've got a good response to every single one of them.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious because one of the billboards said, "How do you store your guns? Are they stored safely?" I was like, do you count safely as just lying around the room?
Yeah. Well, I never get the whole, you lock it up, you put the bullets in one place, the gun in another place. Don't you have the gun there in case somebody breaks out, and then you have easy access?
That's not why I personally have guns. I have guns because I fucking like guns. I mean, there will never be a single person that will ever break into this house. Like, that's just never going to happen. Like, the odds of that happening are so insane that I don't even think it's worth considering. Maybe when you're out and about, having a concealed carry would be a smart idea because your odds of being robbed are significantly higher. But, people who do B&Es, that's a pretty exclusive category of people. And if they're coming into your house, they're going to have weapons anyway. I mean, you honestly think you're going to get to them before they can get to you? Like, I'll put it, but if you do have to use a gun for defense, you usually, I suppose, just, the sight of one will make somebody run away. It doesn't even really have to be loaded, in my opinion.
That's true. Yeah. Just have a scary enough looking gun, and, you don't want to have to use it anyways, right? Because, if you shoot an intruder, then you've got a mess, you've got to explain yourself. You have to deal with the repercussions of killing a man.
Maybe this is an irrational fear of mine, but I'm always like afraid if I were to hold somebody at gunpoint until like the police showed up or something, that they would shoot me thinking I was holding a man at gunpoint. Even
he had a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, like he had a weapon. Yeah, that's the guy I tried to stop. Because I have a feeling that happens more than the media probably reports.
I'm sure. Who writes the report after all's said and done? The police do. So, they can spin the story however the fuck they want, and then the journalists. I worked in radio. I know how it works. We just get press releases straight from the police department, and we write up whatever story they give us.
Well, yeah, and
there's no integrity to that.
I feel like gun owners are targeted by police more than you would think, because I don't think cops are happy with the fact civilians have guns. Then they have less power because they're not the only ones with the fucking guns.
Yeah, they're probably not a big fan of that. I would like to see a statistic about how many police officers are actually anti-gun. That would be interesting.
Obama, I know he's not president anymore, but a few years ago he gave a speech in front of the Chicago PD. And every time he would talk about gun control, You'll notice when people talk about gun control on TV, you'll hear it as, "Oh, we're just trying to keep the civilians safe." But really, they just want, when they're in front of law enforcement, they'll say, "We're just trying to keep you safe." No civilian should have an AR-416 47 fully automatic sniper grenade launcher, and then the fucking, place goes nuts because they're like, "These weapons are very dangerous for civilians to have," and it's like, how is an AR-15, for example, any more dangerous than like your typical 20 gauge or something?
But when you're talking about, if you're talking about like bazookas and grenade launchers and stuff like that, I feel like the people you'd have to worry about, going on a rampage or something, they're not going to be able to afford a gun like that.
Yeah, like an AR-15, you'll notice the most used gun in crime, last I checked, was a Hi-Point pistol. Those guns, the Hi-Point C380s and C9s, which are, have you ever heard of Hi-Point?
I don't know what that means. I'm not a gun guy.
Well, Hi-Point is basically a company that produces the cheapest fucking guns you've ever seen. They're like the size of a brick. The mechanics of them are terrible. It uses an old function of cycling called blowback, and the guns are like $150. These are the guns gangbangers are fucking using.
Yeah, the cheap ones.
Yeah, and this is how it works. They go out, they buy the gun, they shoot somebody in the fucking head, and then they scratch the serial number off of it and throw it away. It happens all the time. Almost every fucking Hi-Point claimed by a police officer.
I would imagine that the people that are getting these assault rifles are just gun enthusiasts for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, even like shotguns and rifles, good ones are going to cost you more than $100. I mean, like $100, $200.
Yep.
The guns are expensive. People act like, anybody can get a gun. Yeah, if you can fucking afford one. Do you even realize how much an AR-15 costs? Bare minimum for an AR right now is like $600.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. And for that money, are they going to go with that evil AR-15, or are they just going to get like a Glock 9mm with, a 32 round mag if they really want a ton of bullets? I understand one is easier to shoot because an AR-15 is definitely a hell of a lot more accurate. But if they're just looking for something with a lot of bullets, they're going to go with the cheapest option you can possibly get.
Yeah, pretty much. So all of the legislation about like reducing magazine size and all of this stuff, really it's targeting the wrong people completely. It's not going to accomplish what they think it is.
It's not. It's targeting, people like me who wants to get a 25 round mag for my Ruger, because when I go to the range and I only have 1 hour, I don't want to spend like a half hour of that hour, painstakingly loading every mag.
Sure.
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
And I know you're not a gun guy, but you can at least understand that reducing the magazine size isn't going to stop the problem, because, as said, I know a lot of people get mad when I say something like this, but criminals will get those magazines anyway. You can make them at fucking home. You can 3D print a one-time use magazine, and it will do just as good a job. Because if you're only committing one crime, you only need one fucking mag. You can print those with just a spring and a 3D printer. You can print a single-use magazine.
I wonder what would happen if a criminal went into a public library and tried to 3D print a gun magazine.
That's happened.
I'm sure it has. We're going to take a break. More coming up. It is Off the Air Live.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. A severe allergic reaction causes Florida to swell up to twice its normal size. And a Ford assembly line worker is thinking about asking out a cute welding robot from work. It's time for the weekly feature with over 14 subliminal and completely unapologetic cues to purchase Energizer batteries. This is the Onion Week in Review. Area man Brett Lucier told reporters Tuesday he was left winded after placing a particularly lengthy lunch order at a local Wendy's. A weary Lucier said he struggled to get through the 7-item order and even suffered a cramp while asking for the spicy chicken sandwich.
I thought I was just about done after I ordered that junior bacon cheeseburger, but I was able to get that Frosty in there too.
And in this week's op-ed pages, a local man talks about how he was always just one of those kids who was off by himself taking cats apart to see how they work. In your hands right now are the 24 AA Energizer lithium batteries you were subconsciously manipulated into purchasing. We make no apology. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Stefan, I don't think I've asked you this. Are you actually planning on moving to New Hampshire at any point? Do you know?
Probably after next year's election, which I do acknowledge I'm probably going to lose. Yes. Because if it fails and I don't create a big enough liberty movement here, I have to go where one already exists.
Yeah, I don't want to break your dreams or anything, but don't get caught in that thing where you think you're going to create a bigger liberty movement in the place that you were born at.
Well, the thing is, I think with a good messenger, anything is possible. I mean, look at the, social democracy movement, which was basically non-fucking existent until Bernie Sanders, who could actually communicate with people, successfully managed to get that message out there and in a big way. I think it's more or less getting a decent messenger out there who can talk to people in a way they actually understand.
That's true. But,
does that make sense?
Thank you. I think you would, I'm not telling you to stop doing what you're doing here. I mean, obviously keep going with your election, but I think you could do a lot of good in New Hampshire if you came here. And, you're going to be around people who are already getting the ball rolling a little bit.
The goal of my campaign, which I'm actually discussing with one of the officials from the LPO tomorrow, is just to get people to talk about it. I'd like to be involved in, maybe some debates they're going to hold with the Republicans and the Democrats. And I already know who the probable nominees are going to be. So, I've looked a bit into their record, and one of the opponents that I'm going to have has literally said that we should keep rape legal in Ohio because it actually is legal. Have I ever explained that to you?
So it is legal and someone wants it to keep it that way.
But let me explain what I mean. It's not
Please,
like
yeah.
The law doesn't say, okay, you can go out into the street and like rape somebody. Basically, like if you're married to somebody.
Only if they really deserve it.
Yeah. Basically, if you're married to somebody and they decide, I'm not feeling it, they can literally force you so long as they don't pull a weapon on you. So if they just hold you down and don't threaten to kill you, it's completely fine. And they can't do shit about it.
Oh, so it's a marriage thing.
Yeah, pretty much. If you are married, you are basically signing your right to consent away.
That sounds like a really antiquated type of religious-based sort of law they came up with a long time ago.
I'll tell you how antiquated we are. Bestiality just became illegal this year. Just this year.
Wow, congrats.
Nice one. I wonder what libertarians think about that.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
a libertarian, but I wonder how some of the more like hardcore libertarians, think of that shit. Like Adam Kokesh, is he out there? Is he thinking you should be able to screw a dog if you want?
I don't know. I'm sure you could find it because there's enough crazies in this community. You could find somebody who has legitimately tackled that issue.
Only
like it's
if the
really
dog-
something worth talking about.
Only if the dog is old enough that he can make his own decisions.
Yeah.
Or the parrot or whatever.
Right, they could come up with some weird excuse like they could prove that the dog had logic by, answering yes with 2 barks and no with 1.
One of the things I actually just read, I know this is off topic, but I wanted to know what you thought about this. There's a company that has apparently created wearable chairs.
Okay, bring the chair with you.
No.
Sitting on the go.
You strap it to yourself on your shoes, on your arms, on your waist, shoulders, and it has springs and joints in it. So if you lean back, it will hold you up, and it will be a fucking chair.
Okay, is this cool or is this stupid? I'm not.
I'm wondering who asked for it. Did you
I
ever
don't know.
think to yourself?
You know what I
Did
mean?
you ever-
You know where I think something like this sort of idea originates from?
Where?
Shows like Shark Tank, where they just encourage people to come up with dumb inventions and bring it in front of billionaire investors and be like, how cool is this thing that society doesn't really need?
Oh, God.
And then,
fucking hate,
you know.
Like that guy that walked in with like a package of 3 socks and says, it's in case you lose a sock.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. I mean, it's the type of people that they're just like, they've got to come up with something, and they think real hard of the next big invention that everybody doesn't know that they need. And they really think it'll catch on. And the thing is like, I feel like pretty much everything's been invented, and new stuff that comes out or new, like, even in the past 10, 15 years, like, did you see everybody moving to get on those Segway things? Or these, no, like, it was cool for a hot second, and then everybody else was just like...
Were you talking about the things everybody was calling hoverboards, even though they weren't?
Yeah, probably.
It was called an aux board. It has like 2 wheels, and you stand on top of it, and it's like a Segway without the handle.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, it's just like, nobody really needs it. It's like, it's kind of nifty for you to try once or twice, but you would never use that as your new main form of transportation. You either walk or you get in a vehicle.
You think so?
Yeah.
You should see where I live. All the trendiest kids are fucking riding around on those things all damn day. I see it all the time.
Really?
People are on these fucking things. And I'm thinking to myself, it's only slightly faster than walking. And
So your town has hoverboards and legal rape at the same time. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Super weird.
But don't you dare stick your hand in a campfire, or else you have to call the cops and notify somebody.
You sure you don't want to just come to New Hampshire now? I think we might be a little bit better off. And I'd be willing to offer you a co-host position.
You know, I've thought about that before. Like, how sweet would that be?
It'd be pretty sweet.
I know that sounds fucking weird because it would probably be a little easier to sit in like you guys' studio chairs because my office chair is fucking falling apart right now. Because I'm broken. For some reason, these stupid chairs cost a fortune. It's amazing to me how, like, I know, like, furniture is so expensive, and I have no idea why. It's a chair with fucking wheels on it, and it costs like $150.
I don't know. Why is anything expensive?
I mean, why are microphones so expensive? I mean, this mic, it wasn't too pricey, but this mic was like $130, and it doesn't even sound as nice as I thought it was going to.
I don't know what goes into building those things, but I'll tell you what. I still think they're kind of magic. And that's just me not understanding how they work. But you know, it's basically, it is magic though, when you really think about it, you know?
You thought Bluetooth was magic when you figured out you could play music.
It's pretty magical. You're getting shit streamed from the sky, you know?
That's how I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to you from halfway across the country, you know?
And all I have to do is talk, and this device just translates. It translates my natural voice, my vibrations into this sort of. It takes an analog thing, turns it into a digital thing, and in real time, it does that.
I could just.
It's pretty fucking miraculous, if you ask me.
It's sad that in like the year 1998, it would probably be easier to just call in with a phone, so I didn't have to sit in front of the computer and listen to.
Oh God, oof. That is rough. That is rough.
Dude, dial-up internet. People are so fucking spoiled. You know?
Yeah, that's like a trigger sound to some people. I think not fun. We gotta take a break, man. We'll come back with a little bit more, few more segments off the air live.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Okay, we're back. And Stefan, over the break, I was, thinking about where I wanted to go next. I actually want to go back. I don't think you really convinced me, well, not that you're going to, about where you're coming from with this aliens for sure don't exist mentality.
I never said that they for sure don't exist. When I say
You
they don't
sounded pretty
exist,
sure.
When I say it doesn't exist, that pretty much, is me saying the chances are so small it's not even worth considering. And I mean, are you one of those people that think, oh, we have this giant universe, so something else has to exist? Do you come from that page?
Yeah, I think it would be pretty self-centered for us to think that we're the only things intelligent in the universe. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like humans, as far as the intelligent ecosystem goes, are probably actually pretty dumb.
It's fun to think about. Like, I used to think all the time, like, how cool it would be if there were, actually like space pirates or something like that will go to planets, use their resources, and then move elseward and just conquer entire solar systems. That sounds amazing to me. Or what if there are wars happening between multiple planets? That's a really fun, cool ass thing to think about.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Possibly even on higher dimensions.
Oh yeah, what if black
Right?
holes are just a way of yeah, definitely. And what if black holes are just portals to other dimensions? Or what if that's just aliens storing their data in there and then taking it out whenever they want it?
So what are you thinking? Just basically because you're not going to believe it until you see it, pretty much? Is that sort of your mentality?
Pretty much.
there?
And and when I say no aliens, I mean no intelligent life. It is very likely that there's probably some like little bacteria laying around on other planets, but has anything evolved to our current state? I don't really see that happening, because why haven't we seen anything yet in our 100,000 years of existing as humans? And if we have seen it, why didn't they leave a bigger imprint? I mean, you say the pyramids, but I think humans could have easily moved those stones.
Well, I've been wanting to talk about this issue anyways because I started reading a Zecharia Sitchin book called Genesis Revisited. I'm only a couple chapters in, but it's already so far pretty convincing. I mean, you have to sort of allow yourself to trust him a little bit. But I guess what this guy did was he translated a bunch of old Sumerian tablets or something, and took from that sort of a story of an ancient civilization having been visited a long time ago. And you ask maybe why they haven't been back. Well, maybe there's sort of an intergalactic alien council, and there's some sort of law about interfering with lesser beings. Maybe they're not allowed to get involved. Well, they're supposed to let us play the whole thing out naturally.
Well, then why would they visit human beings from thousands of years ago when we were lesser beings now than we are in the present? I mean, lesser beings then than we are in the present day.
It could be a new law. Maybe they were the ones that jump-started the human race to begin with, and then they backed off. There's the theory that we're actually alien hybrids. We were actually kind of created. And, the whole Adam and Eve Genesis story is more of a, an alien hybrid type of story.
Well, when you think about it, wouldn't it make sense that, like, Venus, for example, could be a planet that we possibly used to live on, and then we fucked it up and we came here? That's not impossible. Same with Mars.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think there's actually pyramids on Mars.
I don't know about pyramids, but definitely some interesting rock formations. I remember a couple people found a face on a satellite.
Yeah, the face on Mars.
Ago.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen that.
That could have been something that was built. I mean, we have, Mount Rushmore. I'm not saying aliens are impossible. I'm just saying at the moment, I don't think it's something we've encountered or even documented correctly. But when you think about it, we may never know what's out there because, as I've said, it would take at least 4 years to get to the nearest solar system.
Yeah.
And the people that go there.
I know in our world, we're obviously living in modern technology, but I think comparatively, the way we engage in space travel is pretty archaic. Rocket propulsion. We should be harvesting more powerful energy, harvesting gravity, using light speed and wormholes and interdimensional travel and all of these things, and yet we're just using combustion.
One thing, what if we were to use extremely powerful combustion and then just like ride the gravity off of the moon and other solar bodies in order to propel us forward without using as much fuel? That's something that's been theorized that we could do.
Yeah.
Like if we wanted to circle the moon, we could just, use its gravity to circle it once and then come back. I believe that's how.
What I'm wondering is, like, what if you could create some sort of technology to create your own gravitational force and use that to push yourself, propel yourself forward?
The idea would be, since space itself does not abide by our laws of traveling past light speed, that the idea to exceed the speed of light would be simply to warp the space around the craft instead of actually going through it.
Yeah, which I don't think that's impossible. I mean, that's just something we haven't figured out yet.
If we didn't have money, I think we'd be so far ahead of where we are now, because when we talk about space projects, everybody's like, it's too expensive. If we didn't worry about money, we'd already have a colony on the moon, already have a colony on Mars. We'd have far more space stations. We'd already have, probably a Venus colony. If we just, because think about it.
The question would be not if we can afford it. The question would be, do we have the resources?
Well, in order to terraform Venus, it's actually pretty easy. We would just have to craft a giant shade to stop sunlight from hitting the planet, and then all of the carbon in the atmosphere would just fall to the surface.
Yeah.
If you've ever heard that theory. And then we'd cut half of the sheet off and use that to create an artificial day-night cycle, and then we just clean up the carbon.
So essentially, if we were to start terraforming these planets, we could potentially make them livable again and start colonizing.
Yeah. Mars we could make livable. All we have to do is heat the core to the point that the iron is molten, so it can create a magnetosphere. And all we have to do is, because we're already good at this already, is heat up the atmosphere with greenhouse gases to the point where it's actually livable, get liquid water running, plant some mosses. You got yourself a brilliant little planet to live on.
Yeah, just get that shit jump-started.
I watched several documentaries on this, but then I always thought, shouldn't we just send only the smart people there and just like leave the dumbasses here on Earth, like all the fucking like left-wingers? They can have their socialism here.
Oh yeah, well that's going to be an interesting debate. Centuries after our lifetime, it's like, who gets to go?
I always thought to myself, like, what if there was some genius that had the technology to terraform Mars in a day? And, like, he decided to put, like, turrets up there and shit to keep spacecraft away. Like, how the hell would we stop somebody like that?
Yeah. That really makes you think of the whole property rights thing in a whole different light. Like, can one guy just go to Mars, claim the entire planet, and then kill anybody who shows up?
Nothing's stopping you. There is technically no law stopping you from going to the moon and living there because nobody owns.
Yeah,
I will own space.
The only thing you got going there is just the hope that people aren't going to be assholes.
And like the thing is, some people have said, well, what if they decide to send a nuke up to Mars? It's going to take like damn near a year to get there. So I'm pretty sure I'll fucking know there's a nuke coming towards me. You know what I mean?
I just got a message from Vincent. He was quoting you. If we only didn't worry about money, and he was like, ANCOM confirmed.
What?
Uh-oh. Do you want to respond to that in the last segment?
I have no response.
No response. Oh, okay.
I am no communist.
I want to dig into it. Hold that thought, man. Hold that thought. A little bit more coming up.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the I'm out of my office now autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive. Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm. Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Cheryl.
I kind of stumbled onto you. I drive home from work on a Saturday night and heard you guys the first couple times I heard you, and I thought, what obnoxious jerks have they got on the radio?
You sound like my wife.
Yeah, and I grew up very conservative, grew up in Kansas, moved to Florida, but you guys have really opened my mind.
Well, now, wait a minute. You opened your mind. We just gave you a few
I don't know.
tips.
Like I said, it was more of a car wreck. I couldn't turn away.
Really?
I had to listen to you because I'm like, I cannot believe what these guys are saying. And, so I was a little, I'm 43. My daughter's 24. She'll be 25 this year. And, it was kind of the stuff that was coming out of her mouth that I just took as kind of a just a crazy youth thing. But you guys have absolutely opened my mind.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
All right, we're back for the final segment of Off the Air Live here on a Saturday night. We've been talking to Stephen. You said it again. Oh no, from Ohio. Oh. You ready to add a new man to the phone line here?
I mean, if he decides to take it, oh gosh.
Huh?
If
anyway,
CJ.
Hey guys.
CJ from Manch, you're on the show. Are you as drunk as you promised to be?
I've had a few beers, but no, I'm actually not terribly wasted. That's why I actually decided to go ahead and call in.
Cool. So you can sort of keep your thoughts together tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're all wasted on
actually,
Odom.
I wanted to give a response to your guys' aliens debate here.
Yeah. What's your take?
Yeah, and mine actually comes from some research that I've done in the past couple weeks. Regarding some quantum physics experiments that have been done in the past few decades from famous physicists like John Wheeler, who is a colleague of Albert Einstein's, and particularly Robert Lanza in the newer generations of scientists. But
okay,
I believe that we may be alone in the universe, and the reason is because I think, from at least according to these quantum experiments, we could be alone in the universe because the universe exists because we've created it by observing it. And these experiments in the quantum world are actually showing that that material actually doesn't become matter until it's observed. And of course, and this doesn't happen in the large world that we exist in. It exists only in the quantum world, the very, very small world that we can't see. And of which, of course, everything is made of these little quantum particles. And these experiments have been done over and over again for decades. And they just prove over and over again that matter only exists in wave form, much like light, and they don't become particle form until we look at them.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, one has to ask themselves, how did the Earth even come to be? How did the universe even come to be if matter doesn't actually take form until it's observed? Well, that would be the only way that would be possible is if life actually looked at it first or felt it or just felt its presence in some way to make it there.
Well, what about the idea that maybe there's a grand observer? You know, call it whatever you want, but maybe life itself is consciousness, and the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang, if you will, that was just the universe, this grand observer becoming aware of itself, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, I was about to throw that in there, that the only way that would make sense is if the life was eternal. I mean, if the Big Bang happened the way we thought it would after the big dinner and the big movie, of course, there would have to be some sort of observer there. And that observer would have to be from outside of the universe, would it not? Because if it started on its own, it could only become itself if there was somebody there to look at it.
Well, the theory exactly would be that there was some random event 4.8 billion years ago, and perhaps and it's such an unlikely event that really it's so unlikely that the chance of it happening again would be any number but zero, and it could be 0.0 how many decimal points out. And the theory is that really, I mean, this object, this piece of bacteria, just could have appeared out of nowhere. And then, I mean, because that's really it's just as likely as the Big Bang theory. And this piece of life just appeared out of nowhere. and the presence of this, one single-celled bacteria was enough to consciously know that its surroundings were there, and it had to go find food to exist for its, 2 hours or however long the bacteria existed in that time.
So
that's the theory of how.
I'm liking the theory, but I don't see how that disproves the concept of there being other intelligent life that may have become aware of itself before we did.
He's saying it proves it because there would have to be something else there to observe it besides us when we got started.
Okay.
Well, you guys both make good points. The theory behind biocentrism is that the reason why we're in fact alone in the universe is, yes, we have observed the other stars and things like that around us, and the universe is getting bigger, possibly because we keep observing it. But it's all just our observations, and it's just matter taking form as we observe it, and there'd be no life except possibly in other universes where there may have been other things to observe. And in fact, part of the theory behind biocentrism is that there is in fact a multiverse, which could be bajillions of different universes with bajillions of us in every single one, and making slightly different decisions and pointing us in slightly different ways. And then, of course, it brings you to, time, questioning time and space. And some of these other quantum experiments have actually proved that time doesn't exist either. It's really just a figment of human perception.
I was just about to ask you about that.
You are fucking the living shit out of me right now. Do you know that?
I know. It blew my mind too. I've been researching this for about a month or two now, and it's been pretty insane.
It's like the fucking Twilight Zone in this shit.
Dude, all right, CJ, let me ask you this.
It makes a lot of sense, though. It makes almost in a way more sense than the Big Bang Theory. And it's not saying and evolution and all the things that we really know about. That means all that's true. It's just this kind of fits it all together, and it makes it complete almost. Theory of everything complete. It's weird. Yeah.
Have you heard the theory that the CERN reactor actually destroyed the universe, and then we switched to a parallel timeline?
And that's why Berenstain Bears is spelled.
Yes, and it explains the Mandela effect because there's just a small change in the universe, barely noticeable.
I think that's Ian there.
Yeah. It was a theory. It was a theory. Actually, I heard a 13-year-old on YouTube explain it, so I don't know how how verifiable it is, but I thought it was kind of interesting, anyways.
I always did remember it spelled EIN, and I remember the book as being, no boys allowed, not no girls allowed, and like when I grew up and realized there were Berenstain Bears books that I remembered that didn't even exist, I was like, what the fuck? But I just attribute that to me being a little shit who could barely fucking read anyway.
Yeah, so I guess the guy says that what happened was that they changed the weight of a single electron or something, and that destroyed the universe somehow. And then because matter can only be transferred and not created or destroyed, it just moved to the closest parallel timeline, and just we never even noticed that we destroyed the universe.
In a universe. Crazy. In a universe where it's witty kind and not witty kin.
But yeah, something like that, basically.
I'm surprised he hasn't called tonight through all this.
He's banned.
Yeah, he's not allowed to anymore.
Yeah, that's why I just got done listening to.
Oh, what? He's been banned from LRN permanently now?
Oh, he can call back into Free Talk Live, although I don't think he has.
No, he's not going to because, he doesn't want to get banned, he said.
He doesn't want to get banned again.
Yeah.
Perma-banned.
Get wrecked, faggot. Perma-banned. Don't break the rules. Find another server to play on.
Yeah. Hey, well, I just want to reiterate. I'm not offended by anything he says. I have thick enough skin. I just think he's boring. And that's the one rule I've got on here.
Yeah, He can't start a conversation without bringing up 9/11.
Yeah, how many times do we get to keep repeating that conversation?
I don't know. I think I've heard it.
And he starts talking like he knew survivors of 9/11, and I'm like, dude, you don't have any friends, let alone know anybody who was a 9/11 survivor. Fuck off.
Man, I will add again, this man has threatened to rip off my penis.
Yeah, let's get that out there. Everybody should know that that threat was specifically made.
Half-wit.
What a psychopath! Yeah, I heard that episode where he claimed that he knew somebody who died in the 9/11 attacks. He's so full of shit. I can't even believe that. What a liar!
I think that all got started when I was on and I was discussing the whole 9/11 thing with like Vincent, and then he got all fucking like pissed off and what I said about abortion, and he's like, "I'm Roman Catholic and I'm going to break your arms."
I'm Roman Catholic. I remember that too.
Oh man, aren't Christians some of the most peaceful, loving people you'll meet?
Oh, yeah.
So nice. They're all so warm and fuzzy. Guys, I want to thank you both for calling in. This has been an amazing show. OffTheAirLive.com is the website. Join the OTAL Club on Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary